Hey guys, we are back. This is the judges video of the 2015 Desert Games. We appreciate you guys volunteering. We know that you don't have to do it, you're not getting paid, but we really appreciate it. Without you guys, this event could not happen. And here's a couple things I want you guys to take note of. We're gonna go over each workout. Well, actually what I want you guys to do is first watch every single workout video that the videos were for the athletes. There you'll find the standards. Today I just want to go over your responsibility as a judge, a little bit about the scorecards, and what you guys will be expected to do on the competition floor the day of. So we have a better opportunity to discuss it before we actually get there and everything is hectic. So first things first, we will have a judges meeting on Friday at 6 p.m. at the location at downtown. It's not absolutely mandatory, but please, if you can make it, if you have any questions, or if you can make it, we ask that you come. And if you're coming in from out of town and just can't make that meeting, I understand. Just make sure you ask any questions before you get there, and make sure you watch this video closely as well as all the other standards videos. Okay, so first things first is the schedule. Everything's posted online. If you go to elpasodesertgames.com, you'll find the schedule of heats. We expect the judges to be there at 7 a.m. You'll all have different reliefs throughout the day. We don't have that many judges, but we have a little bit enough to give some of you guys relief during the day, so you don't have to be there the whole time. Okay, let's talk about what happens when the team comes to you. So they're going to be all in heats. They'll all have their scorecards. You'll be standing in your own lane, and the team will bring the scorecards to you. So you'll stand in the lane, the teams will meet you there, captain will meet you, and there's a few things that you need to go over with the athletes there before you start the workout. And one thing is you need to make sure and ask them if there's any physiological limitations that's going to keep them from making sure it's a good rep. All right, so sometimes somebody will have an elbow, let's say for the first WOD in a thruster, who just won't bend all the way. All right, when you ask them that, they should tell you, yes, well, you know what, my arm actually doesn't lock out, and you have to test that. If you guys have any questions, myself and John will be there as head judge to kind of come over and help with any of that. But make sure they have no physical limitations to do the workout. Ask them if they're scaled, if they're going to be doing it RX, or if there's any movement they're going to be scaling down. All right, that way you know it's coming. The other thing is you want to make sure and watch them do a few movements. I would, as a judge, ask them to perform a couple of movements, so in case they didn't tell you anything is happening, you can watch, see it, ask me, ask John if that's a good rep, look to you, or you kind of preemptive figure out, hey, you need to make sure and push your head through, you know, the bars in front of you. You're not locking all the way up. You're not standing in full extension before you complete the rep. Make sure you get all of that out of the way before you start the workout. It's much harder to do it. It's much more frustrating to do it, as we all know, inside of the workout. So make sure that you guys do ask that. Now, the other thing that I've seen before is that can be somewhat of an issue, especially maybe in the first workout and anything that has a squat in there, is the hip crease below knee. All right, so most athletes can do this. Now, again, make sure your athlete has no physical limitations, and the scale, we're going to be a little bit more lenient with that stuff than we are in the RX and fire breather. So you know, hips below parallel, make sure you figure that out before, and if they can't just quite get there, but they are, and they looks like they're trying, and their body mechanics and their angles are just not allowing them to do that, nor their mobility, then we may let that slide, and that's only for the scale. Okay, so we're talking about hips below squat or below knee. Is I'm looking at Jamie's hip crease here, and it's below the top of the knee, so that's a good rep. So bring it up a little bit. That is going to be not a good rep, because we'll see that the hip crease is above knee. Also, the angle of the knee is above parallel. All right, so make sure of that. Now, you might get a couple people who have very big hamstrings and very big calves, and just cannot go down into what you may think is a full squat. It might be just right at that point. So you need to make sure and look at that. And if they're just sitting there going, look, I just can't get below, we'll have to make that call at the competition. So, but make sure you take care of all of that stuff before you start the WOD. It'll minimize any kind of argument during the WOD. Okay. Now let's talk about on 3, 2, 1, go. You're going to be working in partners of 2 for most of these workouts, and there's going to be one person in your team that's going to have a stopwatch. All right, we're going to go off the big clock that's going to be outside, but if that, for whatever reason, that clock goes out, you'll have your stopwatch as the backup. One person on 3, 2, 1, go is going to make sure that they're in charge of hitting that stop clock or stopwatch around your neck as a go. At that point, you'll never have to look at that stopwatch again until the WOD is over. If, for whatever reason, the clock goes out, we're going to refer to the stopwatch that you guys have. So make sure that that one person is hitting the start button before 3, 2, 1, go. That's just the backup, all right? When they cross the line, and you're looking for all teammates to cross the line, so if I'm coming through and Jamie's coming through, as long as the last teammate is across the line, say for instance there's a line right here, we cross the line, we finish, that's when you stop the clock, that's when you look at the big clock to get your time, okay? So you are looking at the big clock for your times to write down on the scoreboard, not your stopwatch. Only if the big clock goes out are we looking at those stopwatches, okay? The other thing is important to note is that if there's a team that are very close and they're running towards the finish line against another team and it's pretty close, when they get into there and the amount of time it takes you to look, make sure they crossed to the time that you can look at the stopwatch, and when that other judge is a little faster than you, even though your team made it first, we got to make sure that the team that actually crossed the finish line was the team that had the fastest time. So talk with the other judge, and if there's anything close, John and I will be on the floor, so we'll make sure to help you see which team was the one that got across the finish line first, to make sure that their team, no matter what you saw, is slightly behind or in front of the team that that was second across the line. If there's a tie, we'll come to it when we get there. All right. That brings me to the point where we are going to be head judges. So if you have any question, you raise your hand. So if Jamie's counting somebody and they just are not seeing somebody, they just want to raise your hand, wave, just do this, keep counting, don't look away from the reps. We'll find you, we'll come over, start looking at what they're doing, and start and making sure that the reps are clean, all right? If you see a no rep, the rule is if you see a no rep, you're gonna give them one warning first. And that warning can come in terms of a cue, like make sure you get low, or lock out at the top. One warning usually means that's it. After that, you can start no repping them based off of your discretion, okay? So if they start going off and they're not hitting full extension, hey, hit full extension, they don't do it again, no rep, all right? The biggest thing as a judge, and we all know this if you've ever competed, is to count out loud and be loud. Your team will appreciate it. Please don't count to yourself, or at least if you're no repping, let them know you're no repping, okay? No rep, I mean, or some sort of big gesture that will let the team know that they are being no rep. All right, that's one of the frustrating things when you have no idea, you're counting in your head, you move on, didn't realize you had a couple of no reps, you move back. So one, make sure that you get everything before. Two, before any kind of physiological, what do you call it, Jamie? Challenges, okay, all right, and then also you make sure that you hit the stopwatch and that you're calling the head judge and everything else that we had just talked about, all right? So make sure you're no repping out loud, counting out loud. If they ask you to speak up, speak up. That's a very frustrating thing as you're competing and the judge is not very vocal. So try to be that way. Try to be fair, obviously, but hopefully you don't feel the need and don't grab a team that's from your gym and feel the need to give any kind of bro raps away. But if you have any hesitation of judging a team from your gym, we can switch you on your lanes, okay? I expect all judges to be fair, so I'm not gonna try to keep track of who's from what gym and which team is going into their lane. But if you feel uncomfortable and just say, I'd rather not, we'll switch judges. That's not a problem. Just let the head judge know before it happens. All right, so you'll have about 5 minutes to discuss everything with your team before time starts, and let them do a few reps of whatever they're doing, and then we'll get started right away. Any questions, make sure you ask the head judge. The judge's rule will be final. Head judge's rule will be final. So remember also we're watching the big clock, and then at the end, the scorecards. You need to make sure that the team captain signs the scorecard. So they're proving to you, hey, I believe that this was our time, and they're done. If they need to catch their breath a little bit, you can ask them to wait. If they have any questions, they should ask you then. Once they sign the scorecard, that's pretty much a done deal in terms of what their score is, all right? If they have an issue with the time or scorecard, just raise your hand. Raise your hand or call us over. We'll discuss with the team and figure out what's going on, what we need to change, if there's any questions. But at the end of the day, it's your rule, guys. And we realize that you guys are not professional judges and you're going to make mistakes, and we're cool with that, and our athletes should be cool with that too. If you make mistakes, don't feel bad. It happens to all of us. We'll try to fix it the best way we can, okay? But just don't let that distract you. Everybody knows in local competitions, it's really difficult, or in any competition for that matter, to be completely 100% accurate every single time, all right? So please don't figure that that's wrong. So when you're done with the workout, the team captain will sign the scorecard. You'll stay in your lane. We'll have runners come and pick up your scorecards, and that's it. You'll wait for the next team. We're going to be quite on schedule. We have some refreshments coming for you guys. We have some shade, a tent directly for you guys. So hopefully that helps. The shirts, they look just like this, but they're kind of army green color. You guys will get your shirts. You pick up your packet at the judges meeting beforehand. It'll have all schedules. It'll have your judges credentials and your t-shirts. If you cannot make it that day, you have to be there, have to be there at 7 a.m. the next morning on Saturday. After 7 a.m., we kind of stop handing away any kind of check-ins for both athletes and judges. All right? Last thing I wanted to say, what I really appreciate as an MC while I'm walking around emceeing, I'll have a mic walking around making sure or announcing any kind of movement as the teams go on, is as they're getting to their last few reps, if you could put your hand up and count me at 5. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That really helps out know where all the teams are at, even though we've programmed the WODs well enough to have a really good flow, and the crowd should know who's ahead, but that really helps on how many reps everybody has left. Okay, so again, I hope you watched this video a couple times. I talked a lot, but make sure you guys are prepared. If you have any questions, feel free to email us back, or comment, or send us a message on Facebook or through email, and if we can get to you as fast as possible, we will. Again, thank you guys for helping out this weekend. We really appreciate it, and we cannot wait to have you guys out. Thanks a lot.